I used to joke that I could balance anyone's books except my own. Turns out, jokes don't stop visitors. I'm a CPA. February through April, my office smells like burnt coffee and printer toner, and my voicemail is a landfill of panic. That night, I agreed to see a client after hours, only 20 minutes, I promise, because he sounded anxious and because I never learned to say no to money that asks nicely. The building empties at 6. By 9, the hallways outside my suite are so quiet, the exit sign hum sounds like a choir. I unlocked the glass door, flicked on the overheads, and tried not to notice my reflection lagging a split second behind me in the window. The thermostat clicked, but the air that drifted from the vent felt like it had crossed a glacier. Goosebumps zipped my forearms. I rubbed them away and told myself tax season chills are psychosomatic. My client arrived without footsteps. I looked up and he was simply there, framed in the doorway like he'd been cut from a brochure and pasted into my life. He wore a suit that fit the idea of a body. His face was newly invented, eyes set a few millimeters too far apart, a mouth that stretched longer on the left than the right, a nose that seemed to decide where to be each time I blinked. "Thank you for meeting me," he said. And, his voice had this paper-dry scrape in it, as if every word had been sanded to fit. When he smiled, the lights dimmed as if flinching. "Have a seat," I said. And honestly, my heartbeat decided to be the loudest thing in the room. Thud, 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 thud. I placed 2 glasses of water on the conference table. The condensation on his didn't drip. It clung in one unbroken ring. "I'm here about a discrepancy, a small number that grew." My stomach dropped as if an elevator cable had snapped. I knew the number. 2 years ago, under deadline crush, I'd rounded in a client's favor, $20 into 2,000 with miscellaneous office as the bridge. It was matched later, shuffled, buried, forgotten. The client was delighted. I got a referral. I told myself I had helped. I told myself the IRS was a hydra. It wouldn't miss a scale. "Which file?" I asked, stalling, sweat gathering at my temples. The air kept getting colder, like subtraction. The hair on my arms stood upright and stayed. He slid a folder toward me. Inside, a ledger I'd never seen and recognized instantly. My handwriting was there, and also not. Every line I'd ever bent, every convenience I'd ever labeled client service, every choice I'd walled off from the part of me that sleeps. The numbers didn't accuse. They waited. "You can fix this, but you'll need to say it." A pulse throbbed at the base of my skull. The water in my glass tasted metallic, like regret liquefied. The office sounds grew huge, the printer's little cough, the corridor HVAC rumble, then shrank under the volume of my heart. "Who are you?" I asked. "Reconciliation," he said as if it were a title. He angled his head too far to the side, vertebrae counting off like beads. "Begin." It should have been easy, these were just words. But my throat clamped, my palms slipped on the table. The urge to run hit me so hard my knees tingled. I pictured the hallway, a long strip of carpet, red exit sign bleeding on glass, and imagined that if I reached the elevator, I would find it open and unlit, going somewhere people don't return from. I forced air into my lungs. I altered a line item. I told myself it wouldn't hurt anyone. I told myself I'd fix it when things calmed down. Things never calm down. I met his eyes, both of them, the left a fraction higher, and kept going. "I'm sorry." The word rang in the room like a coin dropped in a well. The temperature rose a hair, enough to feel the sweat cool on my skin instead of freeze. The ceiling fixture stopped buzzing. "Continue." So I did. I named the client, the amount, the method. I named the lie I used to sleep. I named the cost I'd pay to repair it. With each sentence, the pressure eased. Just a little, just enough to breathe. A sound came from the glass door. 3 slow taps, though nobody stood there. My reflection in the window caught up to me, aligned and held. He closed the ledger. When his fingers lifted, the ink didn't smudge. Balance the books. Now. "I will," I said, surprised by how solid those 2 words felt. "Tomorrow morning." "Tonight," he said gently, and the clock on the wall jumped to 11:59 no matter what my phone insisted. "You know who to call." I called. I hated every tone that rang, every honest word that scraped my mouth raw. I left messages and emails you cannot unsend. I scheduled amendments, put holds on fees I'd pocketed, typed phrases like my error, and I take responsibility until the letters looked foreign. When I was done, the clock read 9:06 again, like time had been returned to me after a loan. He stood. His chair didn't squeak. It sighed, relieved. He said, "You'll sleep." And before I could stop myself, I asked, "Will you come back?" He replied, "That depends on you." The glass door opened by itself. A draft that didn't touch paper folded around him and pulled. He left no reflection on the way out. In the morning, I told my partner I was feeling off and needed a day. She said tax season grinds people down, that I should get outside, breathe. My sister told me to quit taking clients after dark. My friends told me to stop drinking caffeine after 5 p.m. Maybe they're all right. But last night, when I checked the office voicemail from home, a final message waited. No caller ID. 3 words, whispered with paper-dry patience. Balance the books. If you've ever worked late and felt the air go cold while someone who wasn't human asked for the truth, if you've ever been visited, tell me in the comments. We'll band together and find refuge. And, beware. Don't ignore them. People who do. It ends terribly. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and follow us for more bone-chilling chronicles. Join us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky for more If You Dare.